In order to be fully human, I would argue that we have to be fully healthy. And sickness is the absence of disease, right? So before we get started, let's get acquainted. I'm going to ask a tough question, a really tough question, and I want you to be honest with me. How many of you in the audience know somebody you love, a friend, coworker, or has a serious chronic illness? Please stand up. Don't be shy. Be honest with me. If you know somebody that's battling cancer, autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility issues, eczema, diabetes, please stand up and look around the room. Take that in. That's a big number. That's almost 90%. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Well, that's in line with recent polls that will say that almost 1 billion people around the world today are suffering from some form of chronic illness like I just described. And recent studies show that over 23 non-communicable diseases, which mean we can't give them to one another, are directly related to the mouth. Half of everybody that stood up, or the ones that you represent, have an illness that can be directly linked back to the mouth, to oral inflammation. So let's imagine a world where all of you or your loved ones, that the very first doctor that you went to wasn't a doctor but was a dentist. But not just any dentist, a dentist well-versed, well-trained, well-equipped and prepared to understand the pathway of the mouth-body connection. Above and beyond just beautiful white teeth, the mechanics of your mouth, but actually the impact that the oral inflammation has in your entire body. We call this mouth-body connection. What if you had gone to a dentist like that who understood how to treat them, how to treat you early on? Where do you think half of you would be in your health journey? Where would your loved ones be in your journey? And this reminds me of a tragic story that happened about 3 years ago. A patient came to me all the way from Australia. She sat in front of me. She was 37 years old. And she sat broken in front of me. And she said, if you can't help me, if you and your team can't help me, I'm going to kill myself. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm just a dentist. I'm not even a doctor. You know, they always jokingly say, you're not a doctor, you're just a dentist. And I actually think that's a very serious statement we need to look into. And she'd been battling chronic illness for 20 years. She had gone to 15 different doctors, brain scans, PET scans, blood tests, DNA, everything. Nobody was helping her. She lived in chronic pain. Her joints ached her. Her gut had stopped working. She was chronically depressed. Her body had simply shut down, and everybody was telling her, we don't know what's wrong with you. And this is her x-ray. Now, I know you're not dentists, so just to benchmark, this is the x-ray of a normal mouth. Can you see there's nothing weird in this x-ray, just teeth? And let's go back to her. You can see all these white things that are there. Those are root canals, crowns, and dental implants that were done with really good detail and care by her dentist since she was 12, because she fell off a horse when she was 12. And has been in and out of dentist chairs for the best part of 25 years. And we wanted to look further beyond the mechanics of her teeth, beyond the beautiful smile. And we started doing saliva testing, special blood tests, metal hypersensitivity tests, and looked into the research and understood that some of her treatments had passed their, let's say, sale date. They were no longer offering her the safety that they should. And they were leaching toxins into her body, into her brain. That inflammation was causing deep disruption in her body. So with advanced diagnostic technologies, CT technologies, we did surgeries, removing all these failed treatments using lasers and advanced tools and technologies. And today, 3 years later, she's been sickness-free. Doesn't even take a painkiller. She's done. She's good. Her depression is gone. And these stories are being reflected all around the world with doctors, dentists that understand this. So there's a bigger question. Is there something we're missing in healthcare? And I think there is. And we're sitting in an old, beautiful convent that was built 500 years ago. And 500 years ago, in the same decade, a treaty, an ancient treaty, was celebrated between the King of Portugal and the King of Spain in a town between here and Madrid called Tordesillas. And in that ancient treaty, the Spanish and the Portuguese king said, let's divide the world in two, and in between these two lines is Portuguese, and that's why we speak Portuguese in Mozambique and Angola and Brazil. And outside those lines, we speak Spanish, and that's why in the rest of Latin America, we speak Spanish. There's no wall there, much like there's no wall between the mouth and the rest of the body. But 250 years ago, somehow a grave mistake was made. We separated dentistry from medicine. Our own universities, our own school, our own insurance systems, all of this created an entire separate ecosystem for oral health. And it got hijacked by cosmetics. Who doesn't want a beautiful smile, nice straight teeth? Of course it's important for our self-esteem. But we need to think above and beyond that and the deep impact of oral inflammation and systemic illness. And the good news is that you can start biohacking your teeth. Now, what is biohacking? It's leveraging technology, science to improve our health, because we don't just want to live longer, we want to live healthier longer. Lifespan and health span. And the world wants to get healthy. I mean, your smartphones can track your sleep patterns, your biometrics, all of this. We are using special glucose monitors to monitor our sugar, and AI is collecting all this data and helping us take agency over our own health. And that's the beauty of technology right now. And tools like hyperbaric oxygen chambers and infrared light and stem cells are really revolutionizing the way that we think about our own health. And these can be applied to dentistry, and we call this healing through dentistry. In a world where the first doctor you go in your trip to supreme health is a dentist that is well-trained, that uses technology, advanced CT scanning, 3D technology, not just two-dimensional film X-ray to look deeper and get better diagnosis, using integrative teamwork that everybody is at the table to come up with an advanced diagnosis, using lasers, using ozone therapy, PRF stem cells, and taking time to do things properly. The average time for a dental appointment on the NHS in the UK is 15 minutes. That's not enough time to engage properly at the dental chair. And I know all of you hate going to the dentist, but the science is solid on this. If you eliminate all sources of low-grade chronic infection from your mouth that many times is attached to old treatments, not just tooth decay and gum disease, which you've known for 30 years, has an impact on your health. Imagine how many of you that stood up would be healthier today. And I would argue that those of you over 40 that stood up, you have a cell phone in your pocket today that's been upgraded. Your microwave, your car, your refrigerator. You've probably even redone your bedroom in the last 20 years, but you haven't given 1 second to stop and think, is your dentistry outdated? And how would your life change if you upgraded it? Now, I know that a trip to the dentist is annoying and cumbersome and expensive, but I would argue that all of us who want to look good go to the hair salon at least once a month. And some of you will dye your hair, buy expensive shampoos, give a nice trim, a blowout. Cool, we all want to look good. Same thing, we like to have nice white teeth and pearly white smiles. I get it. But we spend more money on our hair, on aggregate, that grows back than we do at the dentist chair for something that doesn't. Take care of your smile and look deeper into this, because it might just be the greatest biohack to find and reconnect with your full self, your full health, your full potential as humans. Thank you.